just understanding that men have been given an open slather of opportunity to sleep with whoever they want, whenever they want, and be classified as a stud. But where girls have not had that same upbringing, this has happened from, generation to generation. So this is so deeply embedded in our ancestral line that we need to allow ourselves time to actually relax our nervous systems and to open up to this, right? And especially if you've got any, Catholic and Christianity are, some religions and cultures that have had so many taboos and so many rules about sex, particularly as women, that suppression in sexuality has been absolutely stunted because of this shame. So what we want to do is to begin this unraveling, is to begin to look at it beyond the landscape and the construct of the societal conditioning, right? So begin to understand that it is just energy, right? But as human beings, we're animals, right? And so a part of being an animal is having sexual desire. It is innate. It's in our primal instincts, right? That goes beyond all time and space, right? I was saying in, a module I was just teaching the apprentices before the show is, if you look at like all Greek mythology, all Roman mythology, all the Hindu goddesses and gods, like there's before there was any religion, there's, sexuality has been celebrated in art, in literature. You look at some of those beautiful, those Greek and those Roman statues, right? And the artwork is that it's been celebrated for such a long time. However, what happened is when religion come into the mix, it becomes demonized and it becomes shamed. So this separation that we felt and this suppression that we felt, so for women it was shamed, and then for men it's an area where you have to go into this dark, seedy room where it's okay to express it, but you don't actually share it as a part of your existence. So you need to understand. So just begin to look beyond and just see it for what it is, the societal conditioning of what's been passed down from generation to generation. And I'll say that there's no quick fix to this. It's a gentle unraveling, but bringing your awareness to it makes a big difference, and that will continue to unravel before your eyes and in your being and in your nervous system. So I would say that with that, a lot of it can feel numb, like you feel numb when it comes to this cultural shame and conditioning around sex. So with that numbness, sometimes you don't want to force it, right? You don't want to force it and you just want to get to the other side and you just want to be this sexually awakened being. Is that honor that sometimes it's a natural unfolding, right? So just allow this natural unfolding to take place. Sometimes, on the iceberg, the ice, it can be frozen. And so sometimes you need to massage that numbness in order to create your capacity. So basically what you're doing is you're creating more safety in your nervous system. So reinforcing the fact that you are safe. You are safe to open yourself up to feel more hedonism and feel more pleasure and more desire and more intimacy in your body. So you're reinforcing your body and your nervous system that you are safe, because what happens to our nervous system is because we feel unsafe, and when we feel unsafe, our nervous system shrinks, so to speak, and so we're not open and we're closed off. So what we want to do is we want to just softly unravel and open up. So you'll hear me say a lot is when we melt into the moment, when we make love to the moment, we are actually relaxing our nervous systems. We are saying, we are securing in our mind that we are safe. We are absolutely safe to be here. We are safe for this unraveling to take place. And coupled with cultivating the energy, and what we'll find, it'll be an activation of the erotic body that takes this beautiful journey and this natural evolution that doesn't need to be formed, because this natural unraveling will be a natural lubricant, and it will take on a journey of its own, and one that we do not want to control. So often what happens is, so we have the desire to experience something. However, we feel our inhibitions, we stop ourselves from experience that thing. So what I'll say all the time is, our fear is not of pleasure. Our fear is of losing control. Who are we when we lose control? Because I don't want to lose control. And that is really the root of all inhibitions, right? So to be completely uninhibited with this is, yes, it's that soft unraveling and that reassurance of safety in our nervous system. But inhibitions, right? The thing about inhibitions is the desire is there, right? So you have the desire, you've cultivated the energy, but so that sticking point is actually acting on that desire, right? That's what we're speaking to with inhibitions. So it's not about you don't want it. It's about you want it, but you're too scared to act on it. So you go, okay, so what do I do when I act on it? So what we want to do is we want to surrender to the fear of what's on the other side, right? So just knowing that what's on the other side is you losing control is not like you're on this big slippery slope where you're completely out of control. That's not going to happen. You're going to experience something that you've never experienced before. And if you weren't supposed to have experienced this thing, you wouldn't even have the desire in the first place. So that is worth understanding and keeping in mind, right? You weren't supposed to do it. You wouldn't have the desire. So sometimes, our desires, our internal desires, are breadcrumbs to our evolution. And there is a difference between external desire and internal desire, and that is something that we really need to understand. Okay, so how do we begin to act? We look at this, and you might go, okay, like becoming this, this activation of the erotic body and this intimacy, and you might want this. However, it feels too big, right? And that's the fear that's stopping you in these actions, is because the other side feels too big. So what you want to do is you want to break it down into bite-sized chewable chunks, so to speak. So stop looking at the big picture. Just think about the next step that doesn't feel so big for you. And so it's unraveling at a pace that you feel really comfortable and really safe with. So don't look at the whole end destination thing. Look at it as to what's the next thing that I can do that I feel really comfortable, right? Because so often, not just within our sexuality, within life, we're so focused on the finishing line, and that feels too big and too hard, so we don't even bother. But what is the next thing that we can do that will get us to this finishing point, right? Not that there is a finishing point, but that's a whole other thing. So what is the next best thing? So the biggest thing with inhibitions is to allow this natural unraveling. Stop looking at the big end goal and do the next thing that feels safe, right? On the flip side of that, you can see, a lot of people use drugs and alcohol so they become uninhibited, right? That is a huge thing that happens because we have, there's alcohol and we do drugs. So because we have the desire to be uninhibited. We like who we are because we feel free, right? And so it's a matter of going, okay, how can I allow myself to experience this without the need for drugs and alcohol? And that is a journey that is really worth taking because the desire is there. It's just having that confidence to go about it as well.